All right, Ian, we have some Nintendo leakage that's been happening. We spoke about this, I think, a few months ago. The first batch of
we've been bringing this up for a while. It's like, so big breach, big Nintendo breach in I think 2018.
Oh, Billy.
My best guess, I think, and it's a lot of people, is that basically a lot of data was taken, dispersed around the internet, perhaps for caretaking, and it's being leaked out.
Well, this was back to the May data breach, though, that was reported.
Right, which I think goes back to the 2018 data breach. I think it's all coming from the same place, but I could be wrong. A lot of things coming out of it that are, some are more interesting, some are less interesting, but it's been all over Twitter and I'm sure other websites for days. Some of the big things that came out of it. The Star Fox 2 and original Star Fox source code, which from what I understand, people had, even the people who worked on it, like Dylan Cuthbert, thought that it had been lost forever.
Wow.
Just gone. People had talked about, and I think it was confirmed even a while back, that Luigi was initially considered for Super Mario 64. However, they actually went in and found the leak. They found his character model assets. Yoshi's Island, this is, I'm just reading directly this from Kotaku. Yoshi's Island, that was the first one that I saw when it came out this week. Yoshi's Island suffered one of the bigger leaks of the lot, with source data, character assets, and prototype designs leaking alongside an earlier version of the game starring a mystery protagonist. Yoshi looked a lot different. He looked way more like a dinosaur.
Oh, I like that.
Yep.
It's got a longer snout.
Yep. He looked way more like a dinosaur. He's actually pretty dang cute.
With a beak.
Yeah, pretty darn cute there. But yeah, a more longer beak, longer body, more realistic dinosaur-like appearance. Yoshi eventually is looking, the game would be far more cutesy and feature a rounder nose, egg-like appearance. And then there was some other alternate model stuff that I don't understand. So yeah, that's the stuff that I was aware of. A leaked copy of Star Fox 2 at one point in time shows human characters.
Before we get to that, it looks like the Yoshi Island looked like there was another character that might have been the original protagonist before they changed it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Ocarina of Time's 64DD expansion may have been found. Pilot Wing's original prototype was revealed. More beta Pokemon. Yeah, it's nuts. And it's all very interesting to me, but I mean, I understand the significance of finding some of this stuff. I understand some developers feel like it's kind of like a breach of privacy, but on the other hand, I do feel like it's, it's probably important to have the source code.
I was going to say, is it a breach when you don't know what happened to your own source? I mean, at that point, it's either lost forever or people find it and discover it.
Sure.
I mean, to me, having the source code is that really as an important thing if we have the games? I mean, it's nice, but that's like a bonus thing. I mean, some of this stuff, like I'm seeing this. Yeah, this is really fascinating. Seeing this earlier, instead of Yoshi, it's a character with with goggles and a helmet on, jumping around. It's very interesting if that was going to be a different game. So that to me is more historic to me. Okay, this could have been a game just with a random ass character.
Source code is interesting though, because it shows people people who can read source code and understand it. It shows how many tricks and workarounds people were using on the SNES, and really shows a lot of how people got things to run on the system, which I think is important because that is stuff that is going to be lost to time if you don't have the source code.
Sure,
understanding how they made the system tick.
Yeah, but people still make Super Nintendo games today, so it's like we know how to program. I see what you're saying. To me, that's where to me it'd be like, well, if you're looking at all my outline notes for a story I'm writing, maybe it's an embarrassing things that I tried and failed, didn't want. Like, do you have the right to see that sort of stuff? I sort of get that.
No, I kind of get it too. I mean, and don't forget that source code is never just source code. It's notes and documentation and stuff like that. So it's kind of like going through a diary or a journal at the time. I understand the thought that it's a bit exposing or something like that.
Yeah, finding like the history of like these earlier versions of the game, that to me is totally different.
Yes,
because like I said, this is fascinating watching this early version of Yoshi's Island. It was known as Super Donkey. Like I never heard that was a potential thing ever before. This could have been like more akin to a Donkey Kong sequel rather than becoming Yoshi's Island. Wow. Could this mystery character be Jumpman? So far, it's unclear, but as the leaks keep coming, we're sure to learn more about this build of Yoshi's Island. You talked about the leaked copy of Star Fox 2. Showed human characters. That's interesting. There's human characters in that. The DD expansion. Pilot Wings original prototype. Wow. Dragonfly.
So,
I mean, this is getting in there. How about we talk about Hit the Ice?
Oh yeah, also in there discovered was basically a retail ready copy of Hit the Ice was discovered as an email attachment.
They were emailing the ROMs.
This is crazy because Frank Cifaldi released a translated version of an almost complete version of that, I want to say in 2001 or 2002.
Early 2000s.
And, you know, I mean, that was probably as complete as anyone ever thought they were going to see. And then, you know, here's this data dump and boom, there you have it, an actual finished version of it. Hit the Ice was a hockey arcade game that was, you know, popular in the early 90s. This was to be the NES port of it, but it actually turns it more into adds a lot of RPG elements to it.
It's like the turbo version. They add the RPG stuff onto it. I mean, the gameplay itself, it's 2-on-2 hockey. It's sort of like NBA Jam-ish. I mean, this is before NBA Jam in terms of year. This was the early 90s. And you have a goalie. You have super attacks and things like that. And then I still wonder to this day why they didn't come out with it on the NES. I think it would have done well. I would have probably been super interested in it.
Yeah, I could see that as being a title that would have done well. Who knows? I mean, especially if it was that complete, maybe they just thought it was too late in the system's lifespan and never did it.
Or just the fact that it was already on Super Nintendo. They're like, what's the point? We're moving on from
the Super Nintendo version doesn't have all that RPG stuff on it, though. I don't believe. I think it's just a port of the arcade game.
Correct. I think you're right. I should look at the book and see who reviewed it. but yeah, let's see. Now I'm really interested in seeing. Okay, so it came out on Genesis in 92 and Super Nintendo 93. Yeah, so they were done with the NES by 93. So the last games were coming out. So they're probably just like, no, it's too late. Maybe if it was like 91 or 92, they might have done it, but not by 93. They were finished with it. The Turbo one came out in 92 there. So, all right. Well, that's interesting. And there's going to be more. I think we didn't even touch on everything.
The Turbo one had RPG elements? Because I've played the Turbo one, and I don't recall that.
I'm confusing the different ones. Did it not have it on the Turbo?
You could. I mean, I just remember.
Grab it behind you. It's somewhere.
I remember playing it.
I have it in the box, I think.
I had it. I played it. I did not like it, and I got rid of it.
Second, in the middle of the second column. Yellow box. No, Ian, down boxes, right? Yellow. Go, yellow. Right there. Hit the ice. Look in the back of the box. Does it mention it?
No.
Oh!
Nope. Yeah, I don't think any of them had. I think that was the only one that was going to have it. Because I had this for Turbo for a while and got rid of it because I was like, this sucks.
Damn it. You let me down, TurboGrafx.
It was slow and not fun.
So the NES one had the RPG stuff. Genesis probably didn't. If it was probably the same as the Super
I don't. Like I said, I don't think any of them did.
Wow. So you got to get that NES experience. Oh, because the graphics stink on the NES one, so they have to add more to it.
Sure.
You know, they're not going to get the same action. First time we had a consulted TurboGrafx shelf, I think, on the show ever. I was going to say, I think I have in the box because the back of the CD cases stink for the Hue cards. There's no information on them. Another reason why the TurboGrafx marketing team should be lined up and shot for those mistakes. But anyway, the boxes had the information on there. Okay. All right. Anything else to add? We're going to probably be talking about this in the next year. Oh, we didn't talk about the Pokemon beta sprite designs, things like that. I mean, this is nuts. I wish this went back to the late 80s with the email. I guess early 90s, we started to use email more in a lot of offices.
Right.
If it was the late 80s, all the gems we could have learned about with Super Nintendo news and things like that. Finally, what happened? I want to see the Bondi emails about Steam events from '87. It's like, no, we're not producing more than 1,000 of this crappy game. It's not going to sell, or we're planning to buy this accessory. Like that would be. I mean, those probably exist in memos in someone's drawer somewhere, but not on email. You think there's emails about the PlayStation prototype that'll be released?
Possibly.
Ooh.
That would be interesting to see.
Cursing out Sony or something from the mid-90s.